Alright then, conversely to the last game, let's have a look at a game where I'm playing Orcs and Blissfulfire is playing the Necromantic team. I do want to say very early on here, Blissfulfire is not particularly experienced playing Necromantics. He's not overly experienced playing Blood Bowl either, that's also very important to state, as he is here as a student. But still, I'll analyse this game in the same way as I did the last one, but this time the Orc team is my team. And after this as well, I do have a friendly against Undo. I will hopefully have one more against Saimar, and maybe one more. And then I will also do all 7 games in the Tutor League this way as well. First thing to note when looking at this team is that I actually went for a different setup. It is my setup, and it is not a setup I would recommend to a beginner coach. However, we will have a look at it and I'll talk about the advantages of using this setup over the standard Orc setup, at least in my opinion. So when we get there, I will pause it. The Goblin is not part of my team, just want to make that very clear. Oh wait, yes he is! No. Okay, so pausing it then. I have a slightly different setup, and this team eventually turns into a 13-man roster. That's quite important to keep in mind. I always have 4 Black Orcs, I always have 4 Blitzers, I always have at least 1 lineman, at least 1 thrower, and at least 1 Goblin on the team. The bench always consists of 1 extra lineman and 1 extra Goblin, so depending on who I'm facing, I can put 2 linemen on the pitch, 2 Goblins off the pitch, 2 Goblins on the pitch, 2 linemen off the pitch, or a combination of any of the above. The thrower is always on the pitch though, the blitz is always on the pitch, and the Black Orcs are always on the pitch unless they are injured. So the advantages to using this setup is speed, basically. Orcs are not really renowned for being fast, but this little git is really quite quick. And if you can defend him well, he can be really quite devastating on an Orc team. I play a passing game with Orcs, which is unusual for most coaches, but to be honest, a lot of coaches are scared by it, so let's see the difference. And my setup is actually already done, pretty much. I'm going to change it a little bit, but I do keep all 4 Black Orcs on the line, and the linemen as well. The Blitzers stay a little bit back, and these guys stay at the back ready to receive the ball. Let's just make sure. I'm currently on a fence as well, so I've started on a fence. Now, obviously the biggest threat in this team is that wolf there. He is nice and scary for this team because they have a lot of armor value. So we want to get rid of him as quickly and as often as possible. Every time I can punch him, I will punch him. And Blissfulfire has actually put 3 zombies on the line, which is good news for me because it means that I can start off hopefully getting a little bit of damage against these little guys. The other zombies are just behind, whites are at the back, and the flesh golem is pretty much, both flesh golems are pretty much out of position, so that's all good news for me. Now, I've gone for a slightly different setup here than I would normally go for. I normally keep the blitzers behind the Black Orcs, but I've gone for an arcing setup where the guys can come around and support wherever needed. And that is a damn good kick. That's going to put my team out of position straight away. So I'm not going to pick up the ball this turn, even though I can, but I'm going to make sure the ball is going to stay in my possession. So both Goblin and Thrower are coming back. We're not moving the ball up anytime soon. We've got a few turns before we even have to think about that. Immediately the Black Orcs move forward to lock up these zombies. The aim of the game here basically is to make sure that the Necromantics only have 1-die blocks across the whole pitch. That's how I like to play against such teams. And Blissfulfire unfortunately has made it a little bit easy for me here by leaving the flesh golems off the line. But I'm going to have to keep an eye on where he puts them. And I've got an injury straight away, and it doesn't regen, so that's perfect for the Orcs. And I'm going to blitz the zombie. There's not really need to blitz the zombie, but I don't have a better blitz at the moment, so I'm going to take it. Also means that I can lock up the white nice and early. And I haven't overcommitted, I'm only a little bit forward with my blitzer, as you can see. And the lineman takes the last block, which is just a push, so that's it for this turn. The Black Orcs have all moved forward one line, so we've actually pushed already the defense back, and this is also part of the tactic, just pushing the defense back turn after turn. The fast things are going to go to the flanks, and that's what the blitzers are there for, to deal with that. I'm not going to talk too much about what Blissfulfire does until he's finished and we can have a look at the turn again. I'll start pausing it again and we'll see what we can do and what we can see in the situation. Knocked out, stunned Blackhawk is pretty bad news for me though. Oi, and 2 stunned Blackhawks, that's really bad news for me. That's going to make this turn a slow turn, and we're not going to advance at all. He's actually broke through with the white and attempted the GFI, which failed, and he's left alone. Okay, let's just pause it here when I can. Come back. Right, so threats at the moment. We have this white here. He can't move too far. He's got movement 6, so he can only move 3 plus 2 as he's down. So he can go here safely, and he can actually get to the goblin or the thrower unsafely. So we need to deal with him. I'm probably going to bring back this lineman to lock him up, just to make sure that he's not going anywhere. I don't want to get too committed this turn, because I've got 2 guys down, and I need a turn for them to recover. So mostly, I'm just going to make sure that nothing else comes forward this turn. That's my main goal here. This guy's just going to stand back up. This guy's going to punch one of these 2. He's going to stay pretty much where he is. I'm going to get rid of this zombie, and the lineman's going to come back here. This blitzer is going to make sure that nothing else comes too far forward. That's basically the setup. I'm going to try and take the ball, because the ball is a little bit in danger here, but that's going to be one of the last things that I do. I hope. I think. And ideally, I want the goblin to have the ball at the end of the turn. Here we go. Okay, I brought the blitzer back, but he saves the same... He has the same purpose as the lineman would have, and that's actually the safer way of doing it, so I was more sensible than what I suggested. It also means that the lineman can screen a bit better as well. And screen he does, ready to support his Blackhawk brethren next turn when they get back up. We're not going to follow with anything, because we don't want to overcommit this turn. And we're probably punching zombie. Yes, we are. That means we can get a 2-die blitz on the last white. And we're going to leave this piece here as well. So important thing to note, I've only left 3 pieces based here. The white, and the flesh gong, because I couldn't get away from him. I did pick up the ball, and I have passed the ball to the goblin. The goblin can now move into relative safety higher up the field. Not too high though, and I think that is too high actually. Let's see how the necromantics react. So he hasn't moved either of his fast pieces at all yet, which is kind of worrying actually. Ah, there we go, they're finally moving. And he has got that claw on Blitzer, but Blitzer is fine. And by doing that he actually got to the goblin. Yeah, I did move the goblin too far up, I thought I had. That was a mistake on my part, but we can fix that. And we will fix it this turn, hopefully. Because we have quite a lot of pieces free at the moment, and it depends how well he manages to defend this line. But if he doesn't put too much pressure on the line, I should be able to fix that wolf issue. In fact, I'm quite happy the wolf has come through, because it means I can punch him a lot now. And that's what I want to be doing, as much as I can this game. I also want to hit the ghoul, of course, because the ghoul is likely to get hurt, but he's staying well back out of the way, so no punching on him as of yet. And I forgot to pause the turn. Right. Pharaohs come straight into the attack, bringing support for this blitzer so we can take out this white, because this white is a threat, of course. Now, the important pieces are these 2 pieces this turn, because they've got to come and support the goblin. This piece is just going to stand up and get punched again, unfortunately. But this Blackhawk should be punching this zombie, this lineman should be punching this zombie, these 2 pieces should be coming this way, and then we punch the white. So, stand up, punch, punch, run, run, blitz, and move the goblin out of the way, and punch the white. That should be what I do here, and I'm pretty sure that is what I do here. Stand up first. Yep. We may even take the blitz before we stand up. Take this one, we will. Yeah, the blitz makes the most sense first. We're going to go here so I can push the wolf off regardless. It also means that the wolf... Oh, that was a misclick, I think. I wouldn't have put the wolf there naturally. I should have put the wolf there. I think that was a misclick, because the wolf, of course, now can actually surf this piece. And I saw that when I was playing as well. That must have been a misclick. Now we'll hit the white because we can, and we may hit this white as well, because again we can. I should have moved the goblin first though, really. I don't know what I'm doing with the goblin at the moment though. There's nowhere really safe for it to be. It's kind of safe where it is. So I may not move it. No, I will. Yeah, that makes more sense. Moving it out of the way of all of these pieces, because the majority of the team is locked up over here. So by bringing the goblin over here, the entire team on the opposite side is out of position mostly. And he takes a hit with a zombie, so thankfully I didn't get surfed. I don't know if that was an oversight, but I'm glad that he made that decision instead of hitting with the wolf, because the wolf would have been the logical choice. But that was just me getting lucky more than anything else. And we are going to take some hits against every piece here. And the white is going to be the blitz. The white is going to go for the ball. Fair enough. That's why he didn't blitz with the werewolf. That's a good blitz actually. That gets rid of the ball. Though it's not a particularly safe defense at the same time. And now he's going to take some 1-dies and he gets punished for it. That's good news for me. Right then, having a look at this turn then, not much has changed, to be honest. The key thing is that this white is in a better position, but I have 2 free orcs that can clean that up incredibly quickly. The goblin is still on the ball, but to be honest I want the thrower to have the ball now, and I want the goblin to move into a higher attacking area. I'm not going to give the goblin the ball, because the ghoul can come and take out the goblin, but I do want the goblin up there as a threat. This piece is just going to stand up, as is this piece, and I'm going to leave that piece down, I think, because this zombie doesn't affect me at all, and I don't want to fight the zombie. Blitzer is going to punch the white. One of these pieces is going to blitz this white. This black orc is going to hit this piece, and the thrower is going to pick up the ball. Goblin is going to run around here as a threat, but the thrower is going to keep the ball as safe as possible in this area. These 2 pieces should also work as a screen. The important part that I'm doing here is I'm just trying to control the entire pitch. That's what I'm trying to do all game, this game. And that's more important than anything else when playing as orcs on a fence. You need to keep complete control. And push is good enough. Prefer an injury, of course, but push is good enough. An armor break, I mean. And that was a miscalculation. I didn't mean to GFI. I do this a lot, actually. It's one of my biggest mistakes at the moment. So I had to reroll that, which is a shame. I really didn't want to reroll that. And thrower's going to go for the ball. I should have stood up this piece by now. Don't know why I haven't. And the thrower is not going to pass because he's in a kind of half cage here at the moment. We're going to punch this zombie though, and we're not going to follow. We're not going to follow? No, we're not. Good. Okay was good news. And now we're going to stand up this piece. Awful. Should have done that first. We can take a 1-die against the wolf, which is a shame because claw can cause some problems there with the skull. I get punished for my 1-die, but it's not going to hurt me too much, I hope. But a KO'd blitzer is bad news. We're still 1 player up at the moment though. And we still have complete control of the pitch. As you can see, the entire team basically for the necromantic is stuck on this side. And the only piece that's in a decent position is the ghoul and this white here. Everything else is in a difficult position. The wolf can now move freely though. Well, could, before we took that block. Now we're taking a 1-die with the wolf. It's going to lead into a 2-die, but that was risky. But it's paid off. Fair enough. Black Hawk is down, but he's getting right back up. And the wolf is actually coming in support of the defense. Now, we're kind of in the key moments of the game here, where I need to move the ball slightly closer to the edge slowly. And with that skull, that's going to help me. So, this ghoul has been completely dormant all match, which is a little bit strange, but I think that comes down to the inexperience of... Oh, this is the game against Undo. Aha. Well, there we go, that changes everything. I've just realised that I've been playing Undo the whole time. That's a bit late, sorry, I've done these games out of order. I'm actually playing Undo. I'm not playing Blashirk, and I'm not playing Blashirk. I'm not playing Blissfulfire. So sorry, that took me so long to realize. And a lot of the play makes even less sense now, but there we go. Right, I'm playing Undo. That changes everything. Wow, that's really thrown me. Okay, anyway. Where was I? Okay, I'm really surprised this ghoul hasn't moved now. Maybe Undo is not particularly familiar with necromantics as well, though. Maybe that's why the ghoul hasn't moved. I was under the impression that Undo was quite a good necromantic coach, though. So there is that. And he's actually using the golems very well. That makes perfect sense now. Okay. I'm still trying to control the pitch, though, and I'm still trying to get the one-die block line the whole time. But now, anyway, this turn, specifically, we have a small problem. We have ghoul and white locking up my attack. I do have 2 pieces free that I can use. The lineman can actually get to the wolf, but I need to move the goblin and the thrower, or at least one of them, out of the way first. Both of them, realistically. The blitzer's going to have to stay out of position, unfortunately. And this blitzer can come back in support, and these 2 are just probably going to stand up. This Black Hawk is fine where he is. He's locking up 3 pieces. So the most important thing now is moving all 4 of these pieces out of the way. And to be honest, I think my best action is punching this zombie first, because then these guys can get onto the wolf. Whereas with the zombie in the way at the moment, they can't. So probably first action is punch this piece. These pieces run up against the wolf. Even if this fails, I still have pieces in support, even if they do manage to get to the ball. And again, I'm sorry for not realizing sooner that I was playing Undo, not Blissfulfire this game. I clicked the wrong game. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what we do. So, Blitz is coming in support immediately. He's also a potential pass threat as well. And we did take that hit early, like I said, so these 2 pieces can now move freely onto the wolf. I'm going to have to GFI with the Black Wolf though, so I don't know if I'm going to do that. And the goblin's going to come in support. I saw something in game that I'm not seeing now, clearly. I think the important thing was getting these 2 pieces as far off the ball as possible at that point. And we're not actually going to blitz, that's fine. We're just going to slowly advance. We're going to blitz the ball. Oh no, that's bad. I see why. It was slightly safer, but now the ball is in a bad position. He's going to have to come back one with a GFI, and he failed it. And I don't think I'm going to reroll. I can't reroll, because I just rerolled anyway. I wouldn't have rerolled regardless. That was a mistake on the Orc side, I think. I should have used the Black Orc more defensively than I did there. And this was supposed to be the game against Blissfulfire. I will put that up later as well, I hope then. Or another day, because I'm running out of time now. The wolf gets a free punch on the lineman, but that's not such a big deal for me. And he has to push onto the ball now, and if the ball goes in a bad direction for him, that's going to cause him some problems. It goes in a good direction for him though. It's not the worst, but that could have been a lot better. I have the blitzer in position to go and secure that though, where it is. And this was actually the second game I played with this Hawk team, so I have an apothecary and I maybe even have a level up that I've forgotten about. And I think the first level up came off the back of this game though, so maybe not. And Undo actually managed a zombie pickup, and he moved the ball into, I think, a less secure position than it was, because the black ball can get there easily, and the blitzer can get the ball if the scatter is good. So, not sure what he was thinking there, to be honest. Picking up the ball was good, but probably should have stayed where he was. And actually we're not going to punch with the Black Hawk, we're going to punch with the Blitzer, which is safer, a little bit. Though the Black Hawk would have been 2 dice, so maybe not. I forgot to pause the turn this time round, so sorry about that. I'm still a bit thrown by the fact that I was talking about the wrong coach the whole time. Anyway, as you can see, I've mostly just secured the ball. I don't need to pick up. I can score in 2 turns. It's hard, but it's doable. And to be honest, I'm not that worried about scoring. Even though you want to score on your drive, I'm doing a pretty good job of holding this team in place, and I expect to do the same. And a match against Undo is always relatively stressful, and it's always very, very tight, and I think this first half has mostly proved it actually. I was surprised how tight this game was, because I remembered the game against Blissfulfire being a little bit looser, but there we go. This game is tight, and now I understand why. Leaving the white unbased was necessary, but it does mean that he can move the white back into a position where he's a threat, though it was an absolutely necessary play, and I haven't paused again, so let's have a look. I'm quite happy with this, because Undo has put 3 pieces in the commitment of getting rid of my blitzer. That's good for me. That means I can take the ball. He's kind of hoping that I don't manage to score in 2 turns. I can, but I need to GFI with this thrower to do so. The idea basically is to pick up the ball, pass to the thrower runs into a space where he can score next turn. In order to do that, I need to get rid of this white, and I need to move these pieces out of the way. Black Orc should probably blitz this white as well, or the blitzer should blitz the white, but I need the blitzer to pick up the ball. We could blitz with the blitzer actually, knock out this zombie, pick up with this piece, but it is easier to pick up with this piece, he can move into a better position. I do know for a fact that this turn I made 2 mistakes, and they were... One of them was a mistake that was weird, I didn't understand how it happened, and the other mistake was a miscalculation, so I will say that before we move forward anyway. The important thing is that I need to GFI with the thrower this turn, and I didn't. So straight away I'm moving the thrower, but he should have moved 1 more space up. And I shouldn't have done that first anyway. So we have blitzed with the Black Orc, which is good. Now we need to take out the zombie with the Black Orc again. And then Blitzer picks up and passes to thrower, but Goblin is in the way, so he's going to move first. Now Blitzer picks up, but for some reason he didn't pick up. I did click here and then here, but that didn't happen, so I've had to reposition the Blitzer as a defender, and the other Blitzers had to dodge to get the ball, which was a lot more dice than I wanted to roll. Not the way I want to do it, but it did work. And I'll take the 1 die against the wolf as well, just to give me a small chance of not being served this turn. And success. Even if he went down, that would have been good news for me, because at least I don't get served. Though I would have to suffer the claw. Though down was only a 1. And he has still committed these 3 pieces to serve. It's an important part of Undo's strategy most of the time, surfing pieces. Which is fair, it does work for him, but this turn it hasn't. This drive it hasn't. And I've actually just realized, I think, during the game itself that I can't score this turn, which was a mistake on my half. So the name of the game next turn is to make sure that Undo can't get the ball. Though Undo can't score either, so not a big deal. Mostly I just want to cause damage, but I also want to get 2 pieces that can be threatened out of the way, if possible. Yeah, Goblin moves first, may even attempt to pass just to get some extra SPP. Take a basic punch on a white, doesn't really do anything for the match. Put down the zombie. And put down this zombie, and then we can do the pass if we want to. This Blitzer should be moving here though. And this guy's staying on the floor, because these 2 are well out of position. And if he wants to use his claw, he's going to have to blitz with it, instead of giving him a free blitz and giving him a claw. Yeah, first attempt to pass, there we go. And success. I think that's 3 successful passes this turn. So Undo's going to try and do some damage as well. and then we'll go into the second drive. It'll be his drive, so not the best drive for the Orcs, realistically. Should have scored, but my miscalculation cost us that. It does mean that the second half is going to be stressful, because of course we're going into it 0-0 on his drive. However, as Orcs, I'm very rarely afraid, and he has done a very good job of blitzing the Black Orc anyway, surfing the Black Orc anyway, sorry, with Claw as well, and off he goes, but he's fine. That's it for the first half. Moving on to the second half then, I have the numbers, especially with my KO coming back. That was an important factor first actually. He has an injury, and his KO stays out as well, so actually I'm 2 men up going into the second half, sorry. And now we're on defense. I bring in the blitzers so the wolf can't easily surf one. And I'm going to push them back one as well because they don't need to be where they are at the moment. And just making sure all the pieces are where they should be. These pieces should be here. There we go. That's good enough as defense. So basically I want to create a wall as my defense, though I don't want to give him too many punches first turn. I usually do put all 4 Black Orcs on the line, but this time I haven't. And the reason was because I'm pretty sure he's going to put high value pieces on the line anyway, and by leaving 3 pieces there, I can keep them all locked up. That's why I'm just giving myself a little bit of maneuverability. That's why I've kept pieces back this time. And again, it's a good ball. It's 2 good balls in 2 halves. And the blocks give him nothing, and he still has 5 pieces on the line. So that's pretty good news for me. I can just move a couple pieces in, make sure that nothing's moving, and I can deal with the things on the wings. He has also come in for a very deep blitz, putting these 2 pieces on the edge. I'm not sure about that. That's quite risky play for him to do that. And I was going to do a different introduction to this video, of course, because I am playing Undo. It's important to note that Undo is also one of the tutors. He's not a necromantic coach, though. He's the Dark Elf tutor. And, of course, when we're playing competitively, I will be playing this Orc team against his Dark Elf team, which will be a very difficult match, as will all of the tutor games, I'm sure. Now, I've already made the first move. So, now basically I want to keep these 3 pieces on this flank, because that's good news for me. Even though the ball is up there, he has to pick up the ball, and he's already failed it once, so I'm going to put pressure on him this turn, and I'm going to make sure that these 3 pieces stay out of the fight, and I'm going to do that with 2 maximum 3 pieces. The Black Orc is going to stand up and hold both flesh columns. Nobody else is going to go anywhere near them, because I don't want to fight these 2, I don't need to. They can't move very far. I don't want to commit too many pieces to dealing with them. What I am probably going to do is punch a hole through here, lock up the wolf, and send the rest of the team up. I may put 1 blitzer on the white, and the ball and goblin, the thrower and the goblin are going to come around in case he fails the pickup again, so I can put immense pressure on him next turn. I did put 2 on the flesh column, don't really know why. I'm actually going to lock up the flesh columns completely. Okay, that's... I think this was more a fail-safe in case it goes wrong, as opposed to anything else. This blitzer, though, is going to do, like I said, it's going to hit this zombie, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're basically going to try and push him to one corner, regardless. If he picks up the ball, he's going to be stuck here. If he doesn't pick up the ball, my guys are moving up next turn. That's the basic goal here. And I sent the throw one way and the goblin the other. There we go. So this serves two functions, like I say. I'm forcing him this way. He doesn't have a choice if he manages to pick up the ball. And if he doesn't pick up the ball, then I can move my entire team basically towards the ball and put an incredible amount of pressure on him and probably score. Him failing the pickup actually cost him very dearly. He takes a bit of a risky one die here, and unfortunately he actually fails the reroll. It was risky anyway, because even if he does manage a push, he's still facing one die, so, and against a block piece. So it's a dangerous roll actually for the wolf there. So the goblin is going to be the first to threaten the ball. And even though goblin as a piece is not very scary, when he's going after the ball, most coaches understand that a goblin can pick the ball up, so he's actually a scary threat at the moment. And I have got a blitzer on the ball, and we're going to get off the flesh golem completely now. Ah, we can't, I'll be in the way. Yeah, okay. If I wouldn't have been in the way, then I would have got off the flesh golem completely. I'm going to punch down this zombie as well, so this blitzer can also move forward. The thrower is also going to come up behind, so I'll have 5 pieces against his 1. Even if he does pick up the ball, there's nowhere for him to go. So this should result in me going 1-0 for the orcs over a course of 2 to 3 turns. And we'll take a punch against the flesh golem because we can, and then we'll hit the white, I guess. So we don't need to hit the white, so probably won't. No, we don't bother. This puts a lot of pressure on Undo because he only has the 1 piece on the ball, and the ball is on his touchdown line. I think he's kind of given up on the ball here, and he's just going to try and do some damage so he can recover after this turn or after the 2 turns it takes me to score. He'll still go for the ball, but like I say, there's absolutely nowhere for him to put it, so even if he gets the ball, it's a lost cause. He does have to dodge out and pick up as well, so he has to roll a lot of dice, and he fails the dodge anyway, so there's that. Now, I think a more inexperienced coach would just take the ball and score right here, and leaving 5 turns to defend. But I'm not going to do that, because I understand that no matter what, this team is all out of position. So what will happen instead is I'll move everything onto the ball to make sure he's definitely not getting it this turn, and set up for a score next turn. And the rest of these pieces can all stay stuck here. I'm not worried about them. I will punch them at the end of my actions, but it's not necessary. Sorry for the brief pause there, I had to actually move into another room. So, as I was saying, I guess, I need to move all these pieces up onto the ball to make sure that Undo isn't easily getting it next turn, and even if he does get it, he's still in trouble. So I'm going to actually hope to score on turn 12. I can score right now to pick up the ball and go, but I'm better off with all the team out of position, just securing the ball and wasting 1 more turn on Undo's side. Though I can't really afford to waste more than 1, so I'm just going to waste the 1. Here we go. So all the blitzers are going to come in, make sure the ghoul can't move, and make sure the ball is definitely, without a doubt, mine. And the thrower is going to come in and stand right on the ball as well, so the ball isn't going anywhere. I don't think he can get that high though, I think he's going to get to here. Here even. The goblins come in support as well. Ideally I want one of the blitzers to score, so the plan is to pick up the ball and pass to one of them next turn. The only thing that can stop that is if the ghoul tries to do something crazy. And take a double skull. Didn't really need to reroll it, to be honest, but I did reroll it for some reason, wasting one of my rerolls, and the result wasn't any better. I could have just taken the skull though, so not sure why I took that reroll. Undo is moving the team down, and he's had to use one of his rerolls as well, so that's good news for me. And even better news for the orcs, but the wolf can come back and, well, cause problems if I don't manage to pick up, basically. And the ghoul is actually going to try and get the ball here, he manages the dodge, but he fails the pickup, and the ball is in a place where I don't really want it to be, because it means that the thrower is going to have to score during the pickup. I should really pick up with a blitzer, but I know that I don't do that, so that was a mistake on my part. I was doing some things down here just to make sure nothing goes, just in case something goes wrong, and what I should have done here is just brought this blitzer straight in for the ball, but what I did instead was move him into a position to be passed to, but of course I can't pass when I pick up the ball because that will cause a score. So we go 1-0 with the thrower scoring, which is not who I wanted to score. I want to get as much SPP on the blitzers as possible these early games before the league, but at least the thrower has leveled up and will be given block off the back of this game. So we still have an injury on the necromantic side, and the knockout stays out, so that's going to help me. I only have to defend for 4 turns as well now, with 11 players against 9. And kick again, we get an extra reroll, so that one I wasted I've got back. I thought I wasn't recording for a second then for some reason, but I am. Good. Finally, they do an armor break. They make an armor break. They had a couple early on in the game, but they've finally had another one. And Ghoul goes for an early pickup and succeeds this time. Undo's only got 1 reroll, so he has to be kind of careful here. And passing is not careful. One thing I didn't mention actually was that the ball was in an awful position for Undo. It landed here, and I had 3 pieces that could get to it immediately. So he did the right thing by picking up the ball and moving it, but not sure about the pass. Would have been better off picking up the ball and running backwards maybe, but the ball is in the same place regardless, so it doesn't make much of a difference. And pretty much the same thing is going to happen here that happened in the last drive, because we're in a very similar situation. These two are going to stand up, of course, but hopefully I'm not going to put anything else on the fleshies. And what's going to happen basically is I'm going to bring these two round the back against the zombie, and these two round the back against the zombie, and put pressure on this ball. The Blackhawks are both going to go forward and lock up the whites, and Goblin and Thrower are going to be in a position to pick up next turn or the turn after. So we're going to kind of encircle the ball, keep everything stuck in the center so we can potentially take the ball in a couple of turns. Of course, this Blackhawk is outnumbered, but he doesn't mind being outnumbered, and the other Blackhawk has come to lock up the white anyway. And by putting myself in this position, of course, I have locked up all 3 pieces, and the Ghoul can't even move freely now. And the Goblin's going to come around into a position where he can take the ball, and I'm actually going to blitz this zombie. Maybe it would have been better off blitzing this zombie, to be honest, but I've taken this one. It does mean that I can lock up the Ghoul even more though. And I send the Thrower and the Goblin round one side. It looks like it's a mistake, it looks like I've overcommitted, but the Thrower can actually come right back as far as the Wolf can go. And the Goblin as well, and as can, one of these blitzers, whichever one I manage to free up. And of course I will free up this one if I need to free up a blitzer, because he can move further. Though there is a gap in the middle, and I'm not too worried about the gap in the middle. The Wolf going there doesn't really scare me that much. As I say, these pieces can come back, and I have all the numbers to slow down any kind of defense. The one thing he can do to help himself is put something in the way here, but he can't stop an attack from this side. And I do have a free blitzer for that. So I can get a piece to stand on the Wolf. Not now. And I can also send a blitz around to get a 2-die block. Right, let's have a look at this turn. Undo did the best he could in that situation. I think the white was going to go here, maybe as well, so the white would have been in the way actually, but unfortunately he failed to dodge. Now, the way I counteract this now basically is that Goblin and Thrower have to come back, or at least thrower has to come back. This blitzer and this black orc are actually already free, so by removing the white he actually freed up more pieces for me to use in defense. This black orc is going to hit this white, and I think this blitzer is going to hit this zombie, because this blitzer can move further. And we're going to take out the white this turn. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 pieces standing here. The white is going to be pushed into this gap, and the ball is going nowhere. That's how this turn should look. And of course this piece is going to stand up as well. I couldn't get the black orc round, so that's fair enough, but I can get the goblin round and the blitzer, so those two are coming round. And blitzer will still be in scoring range against a zombie, which is a mismatch for the necro team. I actually used the black orc to do the punching. Fair enough, he's scarier, so makes sense. It also leaves all my blitzers in scoring range. And I left the goblin in scoring range as well. I didn't manage a knockdown, which is a shame, but that's still a pretty difficult position for Undo to be in. He's got no rerolls, so I'm not too worried about that, but the goblin definitely has to come back now in support. Just as extra security. I think he can actually score this turn with the wolf by going through this gap. So, trying to dodge out a piece to give me a little bit more support, but it failed anyway. Not sure where that piece was going actually. Don't know what my thought process was there. Now, I'm quite lucky that Undo is wasting rolls a little bit here, because the only one he really needs to do is the dodge, and if he wants to make it even easier on himself, he can try and put down one of these pieces. But I think he's doing these as a what if it goes wrong scenario, just to make it a little bit more difficult for me to steal the ball. And he's actually left this blitzer free, which is a mistake on his part, I think. Oh, and he meant to blitz, but he forgot to blitz, I remember when watching it. The idea was to blitz out, get a push, blitz out again, and run straight through, which would have been perfect, to be honest, but unfortunately it failed. And I get a free block on the ghoul. Thrower can pick up, and I can pass to one of the two blitzers. And everything else is basically trouble for Undo. So this guy should be coming in here as well. No, I'm using him as security, that's fair enough. Blitz is going to punch ghoul into this gap here. And we don't need to do anything else, so we're just going to pick up the ball. I hope. And we actually got a KO from that, which is good news. Oh no, we're taking blocks. We don't need to take blocks. Oh, actually we do. That zombie's in the way. Fair enough. That zombie can make an intercept, so that's why I punched that zombie. Now we can pick up the ball and pass without worry of an interception. That's as far as I can go though, so I'm only going to pass to the goblin. And it fails, but that scatter is fine for me. That scatter's perfect for me, actually. Yeah, pretty easy job getting the whites out of the way. What the white should do here is one should go here and one should go here. What Undo does instead is he blitzes this piece, which gives me a free shot at the ball. So, I guess the idea was the white was supposed to pick up, but fortunately it failed, and I think even if it didn't fail, he wouldn't have been able to get to the ball without rolling dice. So what he really should have done is locked up both blitzers, making it harder for me to score. And taking a 1 die against the blitzer as well, which works. That's always good when you see a zombie punch down a blitzer. Alright then, before, it's already showing you what I'm going to do. There's only one thing I need to do this time, because it's turn 16, nothing else needs to happen. There are a few ways I could have done this, but there's only one way that makes any sense, and that is goblin pickup, GFI, handoff, score. So, that's all that's going to happen here. I'm not going to do anything else, I'm not even going to risk it. Need the reroll for the pickup potentially, for the GFI potentially, and for the handoff potentially, so not risking anything before the ball is in the hands of the blitzer. And I don't want to take any more risks, we'll take the SPP on the Blitzer instead. Finishing this game 2-0. That wasn't the game that I wanted this to be. The game that I actually wanted to showcase, I will showcase soon as well, because that was a game against my tutor. But I was thinking about doing this game as well anyway, now I'm definitely doing this game as well, so there we go. But for the last time, sorry to Blissfulfire and Undo for mixing you up somehow, choosing the wrong game basically, but that was a game against Undo, not against Blissfulfire. And I actually got a level up off the back of this on the Blitzer. I think he already had SPP though, he did. He got a score last turn, last game, but you'll see that one in reverse order. So we had 2 touchdowns, 3 passes, lots of passes. You see, passing orcs, and 9 armor breaks. You'll notice though that my passing play is very close. I don't really pass far in most situations. I try to keep passing as simple as possible. It's normally a 3+3+ or a 4+3+. I don't usually do passes worse than that unless I absolutely have to. And the thrower has passed, so he always rerolls a failed pass, which is sometimes annoying when I get an inaccurate and then I get a fail, but if I had the option I wouldn't reroll the pass in that situation, but there we go. And testing Necros, White got MVP and 8 armor breaks. SPP in general, we got a lot actually, we got 10, 15, 16, so good game for the professors. This was actually the 3rd game. I will show sorry, this is the 2nd game. I will show the 1st game against the Practice Wolves, and I've just shown you the result, so sorry about that, but it's more for practice purposes anyway, not for the result. But I will show you the team as they are already. The thrower actually leveled up from this game scoring, and the interlocutor also leveled up from scoring, from MVP, sorry, and scoring last game. So we have Might Blow and Block on this team now, making them a little bit safer. There is going to be one more game definitely before the league starts. I may even do 2, because I'm currently at 1/160 I think, and I want to be at about 1/3 to be in a safe position in the league. So I may have to play 2 more games, but at least 1 more. And I'm hoping that I get 1 or 2 more blitzers leveled up next game. The Black Orcs, I'm not too worried about them leveling up. I use them mostly as roadblock pieces, so it doesn't matter so much if they do level up. Anyway, and I also put a lineman off the back of this game, so I have the bench now. The start of the bench at least. The substitute has joined the team. So I will show the game against Blissfulfire as soon as possible, but that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and please still let me know if you do like this kind of style. It is different, and I'll only be doing this for the Tutor League. Most of the games that I play will still be in the kind of entertaining, silly commentary way, but this one, it's more about showing what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Speak to you all soon. Bye for now.